Hello, I am Santosh Raghavan from Indian Institute for Human Settlements, IIHS, India. I am co-leading Tamil Nadu Urban Sanitation Support Program, TNUSSP. TNUSSP is supporting Tamil Nadu to improve urban sanitation and scale FSM, fecal sludge management, across 663 towns. The program was launched in 2015 and is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BMGF. My presentation today is about how TNUSSP was designed and set up. Tamil Nadu is a state in southern India and it has 663 urban local bodies. This excludes Chennai, and the population of these ULBs is close to 25 million. So if you look at the FSM context, starting with the first part of the full cycle of sanitation, so nearly 2/3 of the households in Tamil Nadu rely on on-site sanitation systems, and the households are responsible for maintaining these systems. The second part of the value chain is the emptying and transportation. Tamil Nadu has a vibrant market of desludging operators who provide demand-based desludging services, and these service providers are serving the urban population. When it comes to treatment, we have considerable number of sewage treatment plants which are operated by the government, urban local bodies. So considering rapid urbanization in the state, given large proportion of households relying on on-site systems, the government realized that sewerage cannot cover the entire urban population in the near future. And therefore, it recognized FSM as an economical alternative to achieve 100% sanitation for everybody in the state. Since the program inception, TNSSP has conceptualized and scaled up interventions ranging from policy, institutions, finance, capacity building, and importantly, the behavior change communication. And also it focused on enterprise development. The institutional setup, as a part of the program, a technical support unit, TSU, was set up at the state level along with 2 city level TSUs. So this is to develop, test, implement solutions across the state. The government of Tamil Nadu, GOTN, also constituted an advisory committee, AC, and state working group, which comprises of key government officers. The advisory committee and the state working group, it monitors, reviews, and guides the program and coordinate across various departments and expedite the necessary approval. So this is very important. The TSU led by IIHS works very closely with the government, and this represents a unique institutional framework for collaboration with the government to implement FSM at scale. The TSU, along with GOTN, formulated the following key features of TNUSSP. Firstly, the program began with adopting a two-pronged approach. One is demonstrating innovations in the 2 model urban locations to build credibility and the momentum for FSM, while simultaneously initiatives around state policies, actions, strengthening of operational mechanisms to support rapid statewide scale. Then the program undertook multiple forms of intervention to address barriers to safe sanitation and enable transformation. It engaged with multiple stakeholders across the sanitation. One, to build capacity, second, to enable behavior change, and also mainstream the interventions. And the program leveraged systematic evidence-based approach to design, modify, and assess the impact of these interventions. And also it disseminated knowledge to enable replication and scale up. This institutional setup and strategy adopted by the program has enabled the following key initiatives. The first one is to prepare a state-level investment plan, which was systematic to scale the FSM treatment facilities across the state. So one of the first thing is we should have a safe disposal arrangements for any waste that is being generated. Right. The state investment plan was formulated with an estimated investment required for fulfilling the whole state, that is covering all the 663 urban local bodies. And also this adopted a cluster approach. This approach of clustered ULBs with an optimal distance within an existing treatment facility, or an upcoming treatment facility. So this ensured optimal utilization of the treatment capacities. As you see in the table, the SIP aimed at maximizing coverage of urban population through a phased approach, and there were 5 phases. And in 2018, the government allocated close to 30 million US dollars for scaling treatment facilities. So once you have the investments in place for implementation quality assurance, so the TSU proposed and implemented a quality assurance support. So this ensured that the FSDPs are built according to the standards. And the second important one is to maximize utilization of these treatment facilities. The government and the TSU formed mechanisms so that enabled optimal utilization of these treatment facilities. One is there was a memorandum of understanding to establish a formal process by which ULBs share a common treatment facility. And second is a standard licensing agreement for private desludging operators to streamline the desludging processes and ensure that the disposal practices are safe. TNUSSP also recognized that to strengthen FSM operators across the state and implement sustainable sanitation solutions, capacity building of different stakeholders along the value chain is very, very crucial. Therefore, the program focused on conducting a series of capacity building initiatives among different stakeholders, government officers, masons, desludging operators, to help them understand their pivotal role in ensuring sanitation. So to ensure sanitation services are inclusive in every front, the program has focused on mainstreaming inclusion by promoting sanitation workers' health. So that's very important. Sanitation workers' health, safety, and their welfare, along with enterprise development with self-help groups, is another important area of work. Lastly, in order to overturn the widespread taboo and the stigma surrounding sanitation, the program framed various behavior change and communication campaigns to promote the need for, one, to openly discuss the problems, and second is to discuss about the solutions. So now I will end with some of the key learnings which we think are useful for other states and other countries across the world to scale up sanitation. So one is, first, we need to integrate scale thinking in the early stages, which influences the plan and design of the program. For instance, sanitation investment planning, city by city, versus if you have a state level planning. So it has got its own advantages, such as, one, if you have existing treatment capacity already, you can think about optimally utilizing it. Second, if there is a paucity of treatment facilities across all the geography, or to ensure operation sustenance, cluster model could be adopted. Third is to ensure desludging operation safety. A standard licensing methods for safe operations are very useful. The interventions should utilize the existing systems and the strengths. That is, in the case of Tamil Nadu, we utilized the existing policies, existing treatment infrastructure, right? And also we built on desludging operation services which were driven primarily by the private market. Next, our efforts on capacity building should consider, one, if there is an investment, this has to be immediately followed up with actions, right? If these are not sequential, then capacity building efforts or the investment efforts are typically not realized. Lastly, for sustaining these initiatives, robust communication through digital and press media, behavior change communication through campaigns, rallies, and events are pathways to initiate conversation around sanitation. And this will lead to the ownership of improved sanitation services among all the stakeholders. I thank you so much, and I will leave this slide for any questions, comments, and suggestions. You can also visit our website to know more about the work on TNUSSP and sanitation.